Brother, the biggest decision you're going to come to in your marriage is, do I stay or do I go? Do I keep trying one more time or do I cut bait and run? Is there something else I could possibly do to turn the situation around, or is it impossible to turn around and I'm just wasting my time? And in this video, I'm going to show you how to do that. In fact, there is an entire 7-day challenge on answering this question. And I would encourage you to join that challenge. The link is in the description below. It'll take you through a powerful transformation of coming to the point of the decision and then laying that decision on her feet within the next 7 days. But we need to talk about the discussion of why staying and going is so important. My name is Ed Baxter, and I help guys in betrayal situations. I've coached thousands of men, tens of thousands of men who've come through my doors in one form or another. I've had over 3,000 guys come through the Betrayed to Badass program. And that's what we do. We'll get you to that place where you make the right decision for you and your children. You see, when you're in a manipulative relationship, the first thing that happens is that she makes you feel responsible for her emotional state. In fact, you might have grown up being this way. You might have grown up trying to make your mom happy. You might have grown up trying to make your dad happy. Why? Because happy dad, happy mom means they pay attention to you. And so if you get with a woman who starts leveraging her emotional state to get you to move, just realize that your need for validation, your need for her or her approval of you is making her manipulate you and is making you dance on eggshells. So every time she comes home, you hear that front door open or you hear the garage door open, you tense up because you don't know which one you're going to get. And so you stop doing what you're doing because you don't want to hear some sort of a criticism about what you're not doing. And so you come out, you greet her, you ask a few questions to see what kind of woman you're going to get today. And hopefully she stays that way and doesn't ruin the whole fucking night. And I know what this is like living this way because I lived with this with my mom and I lived with this with my first girlfriend and my second girlfriend and my ex-wife until I finally woke up and got the picture that I am not responsible for a woman's happiness. She is. It's very easy for women to fall into the victim mentality, for somebody else to save them all the time because they are trained from a very young age, not all of them, but a lot of them are trained and encouraged from a very young age to be the victim because they're told that they are weak. They're told that they cannot do things that men can do and that they need men to save them. And so part of their biology is really looking for a guy to lead them. And so on top of that, they become this person who just leans into being a victim. They can cry, they can complain to dad and they'll come and save them every time. And they're taught that men will come save you. But what happens when a little boy does this? When he cries and he doesn't get the toy that he wants, men tell them to suck it up. That is unacceptable behavior for a little boy. But for a little girl, they're taught that it's okay to cry. It's okay to have the emotion of victimhood. And it's okay to lean on men to save them. And then men leverage that to try to get with them. They will try to save them and try to do favors for them, try to give them gifts, try to show them that they're the best man possible, best suitor possible so that he can sleep with her. And so this further reinforces that men are there to serve her and that she doesn't have to actually change. She just has to cry and be a victim and say that all these things are wrong. And then the man will then take it on himself and say, yeah, you're right. And how can I help you feel better? And so this game of victimhood comes up, which means this game of manipulation comes up, which means that she now feels that she has power over him. She feels that she is more mentally and emotionally stronger than him because she can berate him or she can make him feel guilty or leverage obligation or the fear of her leaving him. And then he'll just, okay, well, I guess it's not worth it. I'll just do it anyway. And then from this position, she feels that she's more powerful than him. And when she feels that she's more powerful than him, then her attraction goes into the tank. That's it. At this point, she wants sex less and less, and she wants less of his attention because she doesn't respect him. And if she doesn't respect a man, she can never truly love him. She can only be infatuated with him long enough for the respect to leave. When the respect goes, she no longer wants him. Yet this guy gets thinking that if he does more, he can somehow get her attraction back. If he does more and does more of these things, then she'll feel better. She'll want to be with him. And she says, if you were just this way, everything would be better. And she leverages this against him. And then he's dancing and chasing after this ever-moving goalpost. And before you know it, he's just grasping for table scraps of affection. Whereas before, he had a flood of it when she was infatuated with him, and then she holds him in contempt and is annoyed with him and is irritated with him because he should have never let it happen to begin with. And on some level, she knows this, and so she loses respect for him. And so when you get into this cycle, you get caught up in the lie of, if I just did more, she would come back. Is there some magic word or some magic phrase that could convince her that I love her? And the thing is that you're not playing a game of love. You're playing a game of loss of attraction and power and control. And you've lost all of those games. You've let her control you. You've let her do everything that she wants to do, and you keep seeing her as a victim, and you keep trying to save her, and you keep doing more and more of the things that have put you in this situation, thinking that if you do more of these things, it's going to turn things around, and it will not. Your history proves that that's not going to help moving forward. Keep doing what you're doing. Have you noticed that what you're doing isn't working? Yeah, keep doing that, and you'll put every nail in the coffin. What we have to do is we got to get your power up. We have to get her to respect you again, not through authority, but through your way of being. And so the big question is, when is it worth fighting to save your marriage? Now, if you go online and you are having marriage problems, you're going to see about 50,000 fucking ads talking about how they're going to save your marriage and that it only takes one. And that's the first indicator that they're a fucking liar, and do not buy their service. Because what it's doing is it's telling you if you can be a certain way, it will influence her to be a certain way, and that you have some sort of magical mind control over her. But she's a sovereign human being under God with her own choices, her own inclinations, and her own desires. And they make it sound like, well, if she liked you before, she'll like you in the future. And they forget the fact that she can hold you in contempt, and she can harden herself to you, and this is what they will do. They will self-preserve through a delusion in order to save herself from herself. Let me explain this a little bit clearer. She sees all the bad things she's doing to you, and she knows what it is. And she knows she's treating you like crap. But for whatever reason, when she looks at your face, she's like, I can't stand looking at that stupid fucking face, and she holds you in contempt. And then because of this, she wants to leave you. But then you go do something nice, or you do something powerful. She's like, I kind of like that, but you know what? Fuck him. Look at all the things that happened in the years. If he really loved me, he would have done this before. And she'll harden herself further and further and further down this road. And this is where the guy will say, well, I've changed. I've done different things. I'm not even that guy anymore, but she still sees me as that guy. Yeah. She's deluding herself, and it keeps her in her place of power. If she can still keep hating on you, if she can still keep holding you in contempt, then she's still justified in all that she's doing, even cheating on you, even telling the court that you're abusive when you never were, even holding your kids away from you. Because for her to see how you are, she'd have to do that thing, which is kind of apologize in her heart. I guess he's not that bad. No, she wants to hold on to that strength and power, that feeling that she has. And so she'll hold you in contempt in order to maintain that delusion. And they forget to tell you this. This is where these ads lie to you. Because this also propagates this game of, if I can do more, she will change. I can do more, she will change. The program promised it only takes one. So I must be the fucking problem. And you keep you locked in forever, doing things that absolutely rob you of your soul. And you become a fucking bullet sponge to all of her manipulation and machinations. And your kids suffer because they end up doing what you're doing. And so when you see an ad that says it only takes one to save a marriage, know that on the backside of this, you're also agreeing, I'm just doing the wrong thing. If I just do the right thing, she'll finally come back. No. You're operating from a completely wrong frame. The right frame is, who do I have to become so that this never happens to again? That's what a soul seducer is. And so if you want to know the question, can I save this marriage? Look at your wife and look at yourself and say, is the dynamic that we had worth saving? And you'll probably say no, because the dynamic that you had was not worth saving, because it turned into this three-ring shit show. So the next question is, if it's not worth saving, when is it time to walk away? Time to walk away when you feel like you're the only one trying. That's simple. When you feel like you are the only one putting in any effort, you're wasting your time. And so we have this problem come in through the Broken to Badass or the Soul Seducer program. A guy will come in and his wife is cheating on him, or she wants a divorce and she served in papers, or maybe she just moved out and like this, she's just making him sit on the fence on one way or the other. She's giving him mixed signals. And he's like, well, you know, when do I leave her? When do I tell her? And I'm like, well, you tell her as soon as you discover it. Be a man of action. Be a man of certainty. Be a man of conviction. He's like, well, under the eyes of God, I cannot leave her. Sure. A lot of guys get caught up in this trap. And so there's a couple of things in Christianity that guys get really hung up in. And there's nothing that I'm going to tell you that's going to go against Christianity to the best of my ability. But the first one is that usually the woman is leaving him because, well, God decided it was time to wreck his marriage. It's like, what the fuck, Ed? God would wreck your marriage? Yeah. If you disobey the first commandment, which is don't put any other gods before me, and you make your wife your God, then yes, God will wreck your marriage, because you got to get your perspective straight. The second one is if you're the only one trying for the marriage, you're not really in a marriage. You're in a situation where you're trying to beg and plead for somebody to stay for a status. It's not actually a relationship. You're chasing a status. And then you're tying it into your own validation. You're saying, if she doesn't stay with me, I must be a terrible person. But the thing is that she can do whatever she wants and she can leave you, and that means you have no agency over what's happening. So I guess you're just going to be a terrible person because this person wants to do whatever they want. Well, could I have done more? Could I have done more? Brother, you can always feel like you can do more. Look at anything in your life and ask yourself, could I have done more to get a better result? The answer is always going to be yes. So it's a logical fallacy to go into that trap of, could I have done more? So the time to walk away is when you realize you're the only one trying. And obviously, when this happens, usually there's some sort of a shift in her, which means you stop becoming her codependent crutch. And now she's out there in the deep end by herself without your emotional support or as a safety net. And this is usually where a pivot starts to happen. And so people are like, how do you get your wife to turn around and want to be with you again? I'm like, well, is she sleeping with somebody else or does she just want out? He's like, well, she's sleeping with somebody else. I'm like, you're not going to do it. Because right now she's enamored in the infatuation of another guy with an entire affair stuff along with it. And besides, why are you trying to get with somebody who doesn't value you and betray you in such a way? You trying to get her back is just demonstrating that you don't care about yourself or value yourself at all. So why would she value you either? Remember, women are a reflection of your unconscious thinking. Your relationship with the feminine is your relationship with yourself. And so you trying to get her back just demonstrates that you're very weak and that she will never come back to you. And so what we have to do is we have to back up, cut the ties, get you powerful in yourself so that you are a seductive man. Then maybe she'll want to come back. And when she does come back, she'll have to chase you. It's the only way you'll believe that she will never cheat on you again. She'll have to chase you hard. And she'll have to apologize. And she'll have to lean in 110% of the effort. And you're going to have to sit back for a while. And you're going to have to feel that from her before you'll fully trust her again. You have to feel that she really is dialed in. Most guys are like, I just need to save the relationship just for the relationship's sake. I just need to save it for the kids. Like, cool, you're going to get with this manipulative woman. You're going to somehow convince her to come back. You're going to somehow manipulate, counter-manipulate the master manipulator to coming back through no contact rules or playing the scrambler, or whatever the hell that they try to push on guys in a desperate situation. And then she'll come back and still manipulate you. Trust me, I know this game because this was my mom. And so you'll sit there and you'll watch this happen, and then you'll be powerless to stop it because, again, she's a sovereign human being. She's going to do what she's going to do. And then your kids will embody all of this behavior, and then your sons will get cheated on, your sons will be you, and your daughters will be her. And you will have created that. That'll be your fault. And you will have nobody else to blame but your own lack of ability to rise up and stand up for yourself and decide that you actually matter. And because you don't matter, your kids will also reflect that they don't matter either. And they'll get in these toxic relationships, and the cycle of betrayal and betrayal trauma will just keep trickling down through the generations, and you had an opportunity to stop it, yet you did not. Because you did not care enough about yourself or your children. Let's be honest, you don't care enough about your children to make a difference. So you get what you get. And so you can't blame your wife at this point. Once you notice what's going on and you don't do anything about it, it's all on you. You created the situation. You chose to be with her. You chose to have kids with her. You chose to continue the situation. You chose and you chose and you chose and you chose, and it all lands back on you. You have to be responsible for yourself. Because you don't care about yourself, you can't do the third point, which is you got to decide what's best for you and your family. If you want to have an absolute knockout, amazing, knock your socks off relationship, you have to determine that that's what you're going to go after. And it can't be necessarily your wife. It can be anybody. And you have to determine that this is what you want. And you have to determine that you want this more than anything else in the world. And you have to determine that you want to have an amazing life where you have it all. You want to determine that you want to have an example for your children. Because make no mistake, if this woman is acting like this, you're going to have somebody else come into your life to be an example to them. And nobody's going to replace their mom, but they do need a good example of this, and it'll come from you. And you have to be the hero here. It cannot be me or anybody else, so I can show you exactly how to do it with the Soul Seducer system. This was designed for. Designed to get you there in 90 days. You're going to be in a place where you're just hitting it all hitting on all cylinders. Usually the first 2 weeks we're breaking this codependent emotional fog where you're just full of anxiety. You can't even think straight. It's affecting your business. You can't sleep at night. It's the last thing you think about at night, first thing you think about in the morning, and it's just absolute fucking hell. The second phase is we get you powerful in yourself. We start showing you how to live with yourself. We start showing you how to have emotional resiliency, how to deal with any kind of manipulation, any kind of conversation, any kind of co-parenting hiccup that could happen with her. We show you how to stand up for yourself, show you how to be absolutely powerful and lead your relationships moving forward, either with the wife or with whoever else you decide to date in the future. We call that creating a seductive life. So the first step is calming your crisis. The second one is creating a seductive life. Who are we seducing? You're seducing yourself with the life that you're creating and something that is awesome, you're proud of. We've developed this inner peace, this inner self-fulfillment, this thing of I matter and I really fucking matter, and I'm going to show my kids that they matter through the example of my leadership. And then the third stage is called soulmate seduction. And so this is the process of finding or re-engaging the ex and having her fall under your leadership in a magnanimous way that she does naturally. There is no forcing here. There's no making anything happen. In fact, if you do this right, she's going to say, I feel safer than I've ever felt. I can rely on you more than anybody else, and I've never met a guy who could be the rock like you can be. I can fall apart under you. I can be myself fully, and I just thrive. And so what we do is we create this garden with which she can thrive. And make no mistake, if you create a good garden and you're locked solid in your leadership, your woman's crazy will settle. 100%. It will settle. And if you're good at it, she will settle all the way down, and she'll be the most grounded, sweet, loving person you've ever known in your entire life. Because soulmates are created. They are not found. That's a lie that Hollywood will tell you, that soulmates are found. No, they are created by people who are willing to do the work on themselves. And if you want to be that guy, and you want to take your risk of having a soulmate down to 0, and you want to have a 100% chance of having that in your life, click the link in the description below and join Soul Seducer. And I cannot wait to see you inside, because I know guys that jump in that program are absolute fucking winners. These guys will do what it takes to win. And yeah, look forward to seeing you inside.